when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was a kid again. Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was a kid again. Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was a kid again.
I just wish I was a kid again. Because back then when I lived on Glenwood and Penn, it was almost all good in the hood. We did, but we didn't even have to lock our doors. When kids could shoot hoops rather than each other, could play outside without being dragged into the games of drugs and gangs. But now it's everything but peaceful. Say Northside now in modern day suburbia quivers with fear.
It's like coming home from work and being very frustrated because the local drug dealers are there to greet me every day.
I'd like to see a cleaner, safer neighborhood for some place that you can come out and you can walk up and down the street without being accosted by drug dealers and all the other commotion that goes on in the neighborhood.
Most of the buyers are from the suburbs.
Yeah, maybe more.
A lot of teenagers.
And they know this neighborhood, so a lot of people from over south say, yeah, we come over to the north side, up and down this street
I have a lady
to buy.
that works with me, and she lives out in Brooklyn Park, and her younger brother lives with her, and he calls this Weed Street, where we go get our weed. So, you know, it's a real problem.
Modern day suburbia quivers with fear. The news says North Minneapolis, but bad drugs, crime, and violence are the audience here. These days, personality and faces are erased. Because when young black males get bored, they choose to follow lords. Not the Lord Jesus Christ, but the lords of vice and folks of GD, shedding blood and crippling our neighborhood. The teens have low self-esteem and run around having babies from Broadway to Aldridge back down to Queens. 1926, Trey 6. When there's something positive to do, what's created our cliques. Cliques are gangs that have the power to change the world, for worse or for better. But it's always for the worse, the hotter the weather.
I guess for lack of a better term, it's sickening, you know, because you call the police, they come by, they leave, or if they roll, they run, and then as soon as they go, they come right back out.
Right, we live within 3 blocks of each other, and it's not even safe for us to walk up and down to each other's houses. We drive. Because that's why I'm saying, who's going to walk me home if we go down this way? So give me a ride.
From last year, it was tough. A lot of drug dealers hanging out on the street 26.
They argue and they fight over $3. You know, it's sad.
I don't really like my kids riding on their bikes in the neighborhood because I'm scared for the gunshots and stuff.
And a lot of the drug dealers and stuff don't even live in our neighborhood.
That's really sad.
They take a cab.
Yeah, I've seen them get out of cabs and
drop themselves off.
That's really sickening. So.
In the summer, along with ice cream come violent scenes and shattered dreams. We think
That's just the way it is.
but
Things will never be the same.
Summers are the tough times. You know, summers are when graffiti happens. Summers are when kids are staying up later, and you know, if we can shape that energy in a positive way, you know, give it a shot. You know?
this summer, y'all didn't hear me. Y'all said this summer, we're not just going to sit around inside when gunshots ring. We're going to get up and shout out about it like Martin Luther King. We're not just going to sit around and watch all of our youth slowly die.
I think the neighbors should get together, and for the selling of the drugs by their houses and stuff, I think they should force for the drug dealers to move. Call the cops, move them, because if it was my house, they were staying at my house, I would make them move. I'm sorry. Hey, you better get off my lawn.
So here in the misunderstood but beautiful North Side, where we ride till we die, we can all agree to fight until there is peace across the North Side.
Trying to be very creative because this problem is so intractable of violence and drugs and crime. And so we always are in brainstorming mode. And I honestly can't tell you where the idea came from. It came out of a conversation, and we just decided this is something we wanted to do. And we called it Hands Across the North Side, morphed into Peace Across the North Side. And the idea just kind of caught on. People got very jazzed about it, and you can see the results.
Hi, welcome. How are you folks?
Good.
I'm La.
Hi, I'm David Hunt.
David.
My wife Joan.
Joan
My son,
and
Sam.
Sam, I am glad you brought your parents. Thank you.
And I'm hoping and praying that a whole lot of people, particularly from the neighborhood, who have vested interest in the peace aspect of this community, I hope they will come out, they will see it as a powerful statement of what we want to accomplish and what we want to achieve this summer. And I hope it also sends a strong, strong message to anyone out there that would seek to disrupt or destabilize our community, that there's a lot of people out here that's going to work to keep our neighborhood safe and violence free, and I hope that message gets across to anyone that wishes to counter it.
We're here for peace on the North Side. Totally.
What we're trying to do is to get people to really come out and make a statement that we're tired of what goes on in this neighborhood and we are no longer going to tolerate it. We're going to be more active this summer. There's a lot going on. And mostly what we're trying to do is just create some sense of solidarity. We have a lot of people in the neighborhood that are afraid to come out of their houses very much, and this is an opportunity to come out tonight to stand up for what you believe in and to really do your bit to try and make the neighborhood better.
Hold hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's hold hands. We're going to be out picking up trash, and we're going to be just inviting people to learn about the peace program and inviting them to come and do the stand with us. And then there's some little celebrating down on DuPont, I hear.
I'm the pastor of Jordan New Life Community Church here, and our parking lot here is one of the two sites of where the Peace Across the Northside event is taking place, and we're gathering people to do door knocking and go out and entice people to come and join us at about 8 o'clock to stand on 26 and stand witness to the positive peace that we anticipate this summer. We don't want a repeat of last summer's negative experience in this neighborhood, and so we are wanting to get as many people, particularly residents, to really stand out here and say we're not going to allow what took place last summer to repeat in this neighborhood. We're going to work for peace, and this is a great kickoff for this summer.
Peace! Peace!
So if we could be on that side on the sidewalk, stretching out, then a flag is going to come down, and that'll make the connection from one end to the other.
Pass this down.
Pass it these, Paul. Less violence, and we're here to support that. That's why I'm here. I come from South Minneapolis, too.
I've been seeing people from all over the city joining hands with people from this community and meeting people and kind of sharing the common vision that change can be brought about here if we all put our hands together. And I think everybody has that sense. There's a kind of buzz in the air. And I think we've also sent a message to the guys who are watching this happen and realizing that they are part of a huge and collaborated society that's coordinated and ready to make change. And you can see them just standing back, feeling a little helpless. And so we're hoping that just is not just a displacement of them, but that it will be the beginning of the transformation for them of their own lives as they see this community put their arms together around him.
I think this event is wonderful. I just hope that we don't stop here, that we go further. Have more community projects, get the young adults that are still living in the neighborhood with their parents involved. Right now I see a lot of parents. I don't see that many young adults out here. So if we could get the whole family involved, I think we'll be doing great.
Well, we are here representing St. Paul's Lutheran Church in Northeast Minneapolis, just literally across the Lowry Avenue Bridge, and we just wanted to be here to support our brothers and sisters on the north side to show that, violence in the city is not just a particular neighborhood thing, it's all of us that are involved.
Many people live in the suburbs who used to live here and abandoned this community in a search of a better life or a greener pasture. Many people also come to this community to buy drugs from the suburbs and far-flung parts of the metro. Many people come here to sell drugs from other inner-ring suburbs. Many people come here as Johns, and people come here as prostitutes. People who own properties here are absentee landlords, live in Mound and Elk River. Many people are making a living or making a killing off this community, and so if we can come together for peace, united, the people of goodwill, then we'll be bringing in another kind of immigration to this community.
Just presence, visible presence out on the streets is a huge thing. I know they've talked about block clubs and kind of walking units to just be a presence.
And to create, a real sense of community. It's not a concept. It's an activity. It's something we have to act and behave our way into a new way of thinking and a new way of feeling.
Hey, I think it's time that the North Side come and stand up to all the people that want to tear it down. This is a wonderful place to live and a wonderful place to be, and we need to all come out and be a part of it. All the good things and get rid of all the bad things.
Grab a hand! Grab a hand!
I live in Southwest Minneapolis in Linden Hills, and I am here because I'm a supporter of the Peace Foundation and helped found something called the Dinner Network, which creates opportunities for folks in North Minneapolis and South Minneapolis to exchange meals in one another's homes. So I'm here tonight both to support the Peace Foundation and the mission of the Peace Foundation, and also to help encourage people to participate in that program.
I've seen an intentional effort really bear fruit when you get out and talk to neighbors and when people are outside gathering, that tends to draw more and more people outside gathering. And when people are smiling and enjoying each other, it seems to be contagious. I feel strongly about this. My son has already been the victim twice of violence across the street from our house in a park. And so this is important to me for very personal reasons.
Smiley faces.
I grew up on the north side. My mother still lives on the north side, and I'm ready to make some changes and help the people in the community and the children in the community make a better environment for them.
Many events, and it seems like the street is really nice and people are safe, and then when you go away tomorrow they're back out. It's just you blew my Friday money.
That's just like
what
up
it is,
here.
yeah.
That's what we had up here when we were picking up. There were some kids that threatened us with a pit bull, and they told us, yeah, come on. They balled up their fists, come on over here. So we just kept on going, and we told one of the other leaders, and he was going to call the police. But then when they saw other people coming up, and then they started to come down their block, they got in their cars and they drove off. So, you know, it's like, but they'll be back.
We're messing with their financials.
So this is really good because tonight they won't be making any money.
But it's just for a short moment.
Well, short moments do count, Susan.
I think of one thing I remember hearing Jesse Jackson say, boy, probably 15 years ago when he was encountering violence in his neighborhood in Washington, D.C. He talked about just the power of positive presence out on the streets and how that oftentimes is all it takes to shift some of the negative energy and violence away. And, of course, it's not that easy, but in some ways it can be. I really think positive energy and influence negates negative energy very quickly.
This is S, let me hear S. T. O. P. Tell you what we're talking about. We play our drums and we got a message for you today. We got to quit being violent and we got to take back this community. We got to take it back and we're going to take it back. We're going to take it back. Danny, Stefan, Taiwan, all y'all doing a good job on this end of the north side. We at the other end, and guess what? We're going to take back this community. Block by block, house by house. Crack dealers gotta go. Everybody say, crack dealer, you gotta go. I'll say it like you mean it. Crack dealer, you gotta go. Because I'm staying here. I'm living here. I'm making the announcement now. We will be on the streets all over the city, playing our drums, singing, dancing. The coalition is going on. You better look out. Now, when I say S, I want you to say S. T. O. P. Give me a beat.
Running from Queens to Emerson for the Peace Foundation.
So what did you see along the route? A whole bunch of people just lined up the whole entire way down. So a lot of support.
You know, if you get people rubbing elbows together, they tend to appreciate each other. It's like if you shake someone's hand, like this.
Like that?
Well, then I have to look in your eyes, right? And the fact that I'm taller than you does not make you, you know, more or less than I am. You know, we're on an even plane, and that's an important thing.
I mean, it is important to me. I think that the violence in the community, in one part of the community, is a problem for the entire community, and we need to all come together to help end this problem. And that includes my neighborhood, and that includes this neighborhood, and that includes everybody in the city. And it's crucial that we all work to end the problem of violence so that we can all live in a city that we love and are proud of.
Blessed art thou. Let there be peace on earth.
Yes.
The Peace Foundation, and along with churches and neighborhood organizations, so forth, and of course people of like minds and like hearts, will be putting on various events, particularly addressing our youth.
What do we want? Peace. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Peace. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Peace. When do we want it? Now. We are here to declare peace for the summer of 2005. We're here to declare an end to violence so that this community and this corridor right here will be as safe as any other street in the city of Minneapolis.
this is really just a kickoff for our summer, Peace Summer 2005. And we're going to have three street parties at the three most violent nodes on the north side. And then we're going to use those street parties to take signatures, sign people up for block club duty. And then we're going to hope to start 16 block clubs this summer out of those street parties.
I think you'll get the message out that people throughout this metropolitan of ours, not only just the residents on the north side, but other people in the city of Minneapolis care about what happens and what not happen and ought to happen in this neighborhood.
And then we're going to have the Peace Games between July 31st and August 15th. And it's going to be 2 weeks of 9 sports and 5 artistic competitions, winding down to the final day. And it's going to be an incredible event.
Targeting youth to give them positive role models as well as positive experience and at the same time excel and affirm their abilities and talents.
My hope is that this effort can, carry through. I know the people on the north side and around the city have been trying to do things like this for years, literally, but certainly this summer, really trying to, bear down on the violence and the drugs and that kind of activity. And so I hope this can be a great kickoff to a summer that sees a whole lot more peace and love.
People are invited. People come from all over the metro area to come and join us to bring peace, not as an invasion troop, but as an affirmation troop that there's something in this community that's worth fighting for, which is peace and stability and equality, and that's what we're looking forward to this summer.
I think it's great, and I hope it continues, and that we have other things that happen in this area to clean it up. I mean, we're getting new houses built. We're having families move in.
Believe me, there are rich people here, and there are poor people here. There are white people, black people, Hispanic people, Hmong people. There are people who live here and people who live near here and people who live far from here. There are people, little people, children, and they're grown-ups. And everybody is here for the same purpose, to get together as a community to solve our common problem, the decay of this community, the prevalence of drug and crime, and it's a united effort.
Just getting out there, being a part of the community and letting people see us out there walking around, saying hello, smiling, picking up trash if that's what it takes, and just greeting people, We're so far removed from that. Everybody's kind of in their own world now, and just being out there and saying hello is just something simple.
I just want to invite everybody who's not here to come down and get involved over the course of the summer. Go to citypeace.org, that's C-I-T-Y, peace, P-E-A-C-E.org, and sign up for one of our activities. Give some time, give some sweat, and make this the greatest summer in the city of Minneapolis in terms of peace from this day on till the winter.
Say what? Say please. Unity. Yeah, unity.
The light of the moon that shines through the narrow window between the kitchen and the pantry has raised me. From my porch to the corner of my best friend's house where I would run for relief. Ears plugged from his screaming and her shouting, while little brother lay on his back in his crib teething and chewing on his hand-me-down Bible. An older sister frantically walks down the street, hands pressed to both sides of her head, nose running and singing her favorite songs with salt on her lips, in hopes that she'll be able to drown out the sounds of the beatings that echo in her mind. And I swear it still hurts to this day. A childhood stripped of traditional happiness now hides behind the eyes of a man that's given birth to a dragon. Amen. With an inferno slowly churning inside of me. And the flames have tingled behind my jawbone for 19 years. 19 times 1,000, 19,000 tears I've cried. Times 1,000 words I've tried to use to describe the parallels of our lives. You see, because I come from a deprived home. Kids growing up with what they kind of know, like what things to condone when you're all alone next to the non-working telephone in the zone watching TV, wondering where the heat is gone. But what do? Go to a shrink or a foster mom, searching for ways to make it better, and you still never consider him. The one that makes it rain even upon the land where there is no man. The one that expands to places where there exists no son of an earthling man. And he gave us simple commands to live, to stay alive, to abide by the things that drive you, to make sure that you have the time to walk blind at times when everything isn't fine, when you have to define the things that are out of line and make the right choice, to make sure your voice isn't misunderstood again.